Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and welcome to Diplomacy is Not an Option, a real-time strategy city builder very similar to games like They Are Billions or Age of Darkness, but with a medieval fantasy theme. We actually took a look at this game back when it first entered into early access a while ago, but as of this week, the game is formally releasing. And along the way, the developers have added some new content, including finishing out the campaign. It now has about 100 hours of gameplay to enjoy across 3 different factions with 6 different endings, depending on what choices you make, which is pretty interesting. Not to mention, the challenge, sandbox, and endless modes are quite fun. This game actually is really hard on the high difficulties, but it's oh so very fun to play. Now, in celebration of the full release, the developer and publisher Door407 is sponsoring me today to take a look at the game once again, and I'm happy to accept that. If you guys like what you see as you watch this video and you want to learn more, you can find a link in the description down below. Now, what they've specifically asked me to do is make sure that I jump in around Mission 4, which is going to be on this new continent. What you're seeing here is me following the kind of more traditional campaign where I am loyal to the king, even though the king totally doesn't deserve my loyalty because he's sort of an egomaniac and he's a fool who wasted all of the treasury of our kingdom and is now sending me to a different continent to seek riches to bring back in his name, which I'm not very happy about. Though along the way, we did have the opportunity to diverge our path and instead go and join the rebellion that is fighting against this corrupt king. And I know that there's another faction that we should be encountering on this continent as well, and we should have the opportunity to play as them instead. So a lot of cool opportunities here. Let's go ahead and jump into Mission 4 and see how well we fare. Yep, looks like we may have found some natives already. Cool. Let me guess. I am going to announce that I am annexing this land and it leads to war. Yep, that is exactly what I am doing. Okay. Yeah, and of course they must pay taxes. You know, because everyone loves taxes. That didn't lead to a mass rebellion or anything. Oh, this is gonna go well. Bring me half of everything you have? Oh my god. A 50% tax rate? I'd rebel too. Yeah, this didn't go especially well, unsurprisingly. Right, it appears we're going to be getting attacked by some natives from the Saranga tribe. Well, that's not a lot of time to propel an invasion. This is going to be fun. Alright, so you guys might remember seeing this game in the past on the channel, but the way that it works is very similar to games like They Are Billions. We're going to be gathering up a handful of resources, including some lumber, stone, and iron, and of course food, building up our population, and training up an army that can repel waves of enemies. Or in our case, it looks like we actually have to locate and destroy their citadel. So this is actually playing more like a classic RTS in some ways. I'm going to start by building a few things I know I'm going to need, like a builder's house. In order to actually construct anything, you have to have some people employed as builders who will run around and build things for you. And they're pretty slow about it, so if you don't actually have enough of these, it turns out it just takes forever to actually build anything. Alright, we've misjudged the strength of our negotiating position. Why don't we try to avoid bloodshed and take the non-violent resistance to evil approach? In other words, declare them the bad guy. Got it. So that's probably going to work out fine. Let's try to get some lumber producing. I'll place something down over here. There are some trees to be enjoyed, and maybe I could build something over here as well. Not a lot to work with. I will need to get some stockpiles nearby. Your people do have travel time in order to move their resources from place to place. That's actually one very key distinction from something like They Are Billions, so you're going to have to plan around that. Make sure you drop off resources, minimize travel time, and so on. I'm actually a little concerned that we don't have enough resources to maybe fend off an attack. Maybe I need to start constructing some walls. I don't even have a barracks, dude. I got nothing. That's why I'm trying to get some more lumber here. We also need to get food and stuff, otherwise we're not going to survive for very long. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a couple of berry gatherers. There's some fish to be enjoyed up over here. Do be aware that most resources in this game are not infinite, so most of the time this is always going to be moving from place to place, looking for new sources of resources. You can never just turtle down for too long. Yeah, I do think we need to go ahead and start placing down some walls just to maybe funnel the enemy in a little bit. I don't know if this is a dumb idea, but we're going to go ahead and try doing something like this and see if maybe I can force these guys through a little gap where my spearmen will be able to deal with them. I wish I had some archers, because then I could build some towers, and that would be superior. But that's not an option. They've seen me from this far away? These guys are actually really aggressive. Towers, unfortunately, do not come with any archers built into them, so if I want to actually get any ranged attacks, start raining death on my enemies, I need to have my own archers and supply them. Yeah, that's why I really want to have this barracks, but I need the 80 wood to pull that off. It's going to be a little bit, and the first wave is almost here already. Still, we got a few walls here and some spearmen ready. Maybe this helps a little bit. and maybe it's a massive waste of time. We're about to find out. Really just depends on the size of the wave, if I'm completely honest. Oh, hang on, the game's automatically pausing. Okay, maybe I'm not supposed to win this fight. My risky choice of non-violent resistance to evil has borne fruit? Has it really? How? Oh, God! Okay. What a headdress! Holy crud! All right, so she wants to be allies. Oh, that could be fine. And alliance leads to riches. We like riches. That's why I came here. Oh, this is where I actually do get to have a choice. Right, we could continue with the king's side of the campaign, or we could choose to join the natives. Interesting. I'm gonna stick with the king campaign because, again, I think this is kind of the most classic way of playing the game. And the other factions, including playing as the rebels, and I assume the natives as well, probably a little bit harder of an experience because you're going to have less access to some good technologies, trebuchets, and so on. So I'll continue with this, but interesting to note that this is an option. Right, and now we actually are under attack. Okay, but this seems like a reasonable enough wave. Let's go ahead and just run in here and give them all a good stab in the butt while they're distracted on the walls. I think my gambit paid off. Maybe it shouldn't have, but it did. All right, we've got ourselves a barracks. Now's a good time to start. Well, I need to get some people for an archers. All right, so the thing about people, right, is you do want to get some additional workers, and the only way to do that is to build up some additional housing. However, you do not instantly get all the population like you would in some of other games that are kind of the same style. Instead, you actually have to wait till the beginning of a day. Typically, that means that at the very least at nighttime, you should be building up your houses as much as you can. Since it apparently already is nighttime, I'm not going to have the opportunity to get some additional people, and that is a big whiff on my part. We'll try planning out a house or two, but, like, this needs to be the top priority, and I think it's too late. Yeah, too late indeed. But we did get 5 population. All right. Well, I'd love to use that to go ahead and get myself some additional resources, but instead I'm going to go ahead and train up 5 archers, use all of them, get some ranged troops, and then start clearing out some of the nearby area. I need to find resources and entrench myself. Again, if you played this style of game before, this is going to feel kind of familiar. There are a few distinctions, though. For example, let's take a look over here and see there is a research tree where we can spend some of our resources to do a lot of different things as long as we have the correct building. So, for example, our builders move and build faster. All of our workers move faster, which means they drop off their resources, and that's good. Boost up our troops. Unlock new abilities for troops. New spells. New machines of war. So on and so forth. Like, there's a lot about this game that really does set it apart from its competition in a really cool way. All right, now I've got a force that I feel like I can use pretty effectively. Let's go ahead and run around here and start drawing these guys out and clear out the woods. I do see an iron deposit over here, and it looks like maybe some more stone. That's good, okay. So we'll be able to make use of that and maybe find a good choke point for some additional walls. Also, we've discovered some of these little crystals over here. Grab these when you can. These are going to be your soul crystals used for spell casting. Right now, I only have 1 spell available, where I could summon some dark knights to fight for me. Very good temporary troops. Later on, we can get an astral beam from the sky. We can do some healing. We can even summon some meteors. You mostly get these crystals by destroying some of the little huts that your enemies are using for their encampments. So if you can destroy those, it's a pretty good way of getting out of jail, so to speak. If you find yourself with a massive swarm, just summon a bunch of units real quick and pray you survive. Definitely looking for more of these resource carts, since we're getting such a slow start right now. Anything I can find is pretty good. Ah, there's a lot of enemies over this way, though. Gotta be careful not to overextend. Now, in order to upgrade my structures and unlock some of the better buildings, I do need to get my town hall up to level 2, and that's going to take 150 wood and 100 stone. I do find that's usually a very important early game priority, so I will be trying to get some stone production up and running fairly soon if we can. And that's why scouting out some of these rocks and knowing where I can maybe place down some safe storage facilities is going to be really, really important. The sooner I do that, the better. Actually, this area is just kind of rich in general. Lots of stone, bit of iron, tons of trees, bit of storage over here, and we actually will be able to do quite a lot with this area. Now, we have population capacity for up to 50 people now. I'm going to get 13 more once this night completes. So we're about to get a few more workers. When we think carefully about how we want to use those, 4 to get myself some stone mines, 2 for every one of these lumber mills. And of course, if we want to train up additional soldiers or get more builders and so on, that also takes a bit. And let's keep an eye on our food. We see that we are consuming only 26 food per day. That's fine and manageable right now, but the larger our town grows, the more military units we are fielding, the worse that is going to get. And that's one thing I think is actually really great about diplomacy is not an option. It's very well balanced to force you to keep teching up and finding new resources in order to stay alive for very long. You really can't just kind of turtle down and focus on only one thing for too long, otherwise you are going to die. So I'm just kind of probing this area out over here. We see that there are a few enemies. Kind of figuring out where's the wall of enemies, how far can I push this before I'm going to have to commit myself and actually make a big push. And so far, we're fairly cramped. Like, the natives are very much out in force on this continent. We made a mistake in coming here, but I'm sure our king has no interest in hearing about it. Nighttime falls again. We should get 21 more population pretty soon. Now again, keep in mind that food is going to get scarce at some point. Berries have been fine so far, but they won't be for much longer. We also have until day 7, so 4 more days before the next wave of enemies is going to attack. Now, in like endless mode, you know you're just going to survive as long as you can. Eventually, you will be overrun, and it may happen faster than you think, especially if you're playing as one of the non-royal factions, because, oh boy, they really do come at you in force, for sure. But in the campaign, maybe you can complete an objective really, really quickly and avoid some of the worst possible waves. Now, we do have enough resources to upgrade, so that's the first thing I'm going to do as soon as we hit our 100 stone threshold, because I want to unlock the better stuff. As with everything else, the faster you can scale up, the better things are going to be for you. Small pockets of resistance found down over here. That's fine. I'm just going to keep working my way around the map and clear out some valuable real estate. Once we get to tier 2, I will be able to unlock some better military units. So right now we have swordsmen and archers are actually better than you think. Like, don't discount these guys just because they're tier 1. But obviously getting some healers, crossbowmen, or eventually hammer guys and foot knights would be quite nice, if a little bit expensive. There we go, upgraded town hall. Okay, let's go ahead and start upgrading a few other things, like, let's say, get upgrades to our mines so we can have more people working there, upgrade some of these lumber huts. I'll make sure that we have plenty of resources to go around. Also, let's not forget that we do want to get some technology. It's been focusing on the economy so far, but we could get a few extra boosts. Faster movement speed for my builders, for example, little things like that. It takes a while to get things built in this game, it does. And I like that there's not the instant gratification. You do have to plan around that at least a bit. Sometimes it's helpful to have some builders' houses placed in a few different places throughout your walled kingdom, just so you have emergency response teams, but it doesn't always work out that way. Let's make sure we get an upgrade to this barracks as well. Can't neglect that. Now, if some of our units die, that sucks for a number of obvious reasons, like we don't really lose any manpower, we don't want to lose any resources, but you also do have to worry about disease. And that's where you get yourself things like a gravedigger to make sure they gather up the corpses of your fallen and get them buried in a cemetery. A bad idea not to do that. There also might be, you know, let's say, zombies in the game at some point or another. I won't go too far into that, but that is something to keep in mind, so don't let the dead sit around for too long. You can also get some first aid tents, which is a way of dealing with disease. So yeah, a few things to deal with in this game that you may not have in other similar titles. Again, it's just kind of showing how diplomacy is not an option really does stand out in the crowd. They've been pretty creative with it. Do we want to go ahead and get things with the comfortable shoes to make our people move faster? Sure. Faster movement for all my workers just means faster resource generation. Now, how long are the missions in this game? It really does seem to depend. So far, from my experience, they can run from as little as about 30 minutes to a fair bit longer, and I'm willing to guess by the finale of this game, you might find yourself with some pretty long marathon levels. So, yeah, there's a lot to enjoy. As I said, there's supposedly around 100 hours or so of gameplay just from the campaign alone, and I was playing this game back when there really wasn't a campaign to be excited about. It was just as much the endless mode as you could survive, so, like, that's pretty enticing. Okay, we have another wave on the way. In about 3 minutes, they're going to arrive. If we set up some walls over here, we would be able to deal with them, and I think that's going to be my solution. We've got a fair number of people to work with. I need to get a little bit more food generation. Let's not neglect that, but then let's focus probably on getting some walls and some towers up here. Now, we could place down some simple wooden or stone towers and gates, kind of the way you would expect, right? That's a thing. There also are additional defenses, so you can place down some guard towers, which can be pretty darn large and have a lot of people on them, but they're far cheaper than the high hit points versions of the walls. So what I find is often worth doing is placing down walls kind of like this, and maybe you work in a tower or two along this, wherever you think you're going to need the extra hit points, and then on the back line, set up a bunch of cheap guard towers back here, and then let the rangers or the catapults, whatever, rain death upon the enemies. This is the cheapest way to stack up a lot of units. I'm going to go ahead and start training a bunch of archers using some of my extra people. And as soon as we're done with this technology, the other thing I want to do is research this ability right here, Gargothian Potion. This gives your archer units a battle trance where they attack twice as fast, and it's a very, very good way of surviving the early game. Highly recommend you pick that up. And now my builders have to run all the way over here to start building up these walls. Yeah, and see, this is where it's useful having lots of the builders' huts in different places. It's one of those things where when I first started playing this, it kind of annoyed me a little bit. I'm like, I'm used to just being able to place these and they kind of build instantly. But the more I've gotten used to it, the more I'm like, okay, I respect that this actually does have a different strategic element to it, and you can't ignore it. Let's also make sure we placed in a tavern somewhere. This is a very useful building. It reduces the food consumption of all nearby residences. So if you know where you're going to be placing down a lot of your houses, this can save you quite a lot of effort elsewhere. Whoop, okay, the extra range of my tower might be backfiring slightly. We've drawn a bit of extra attention I did not want. Whoopsies, get in here. It's fine, we'll just clear this out before the wave hits. Then I don't even have to think about it. Plus, if I end up needing to summon some extra Dark Knights just to survive this wave, we can certainly do that. If you want to get additional spells, you need to get yourself the, where is this thing? It is a special, there he is, Obelisk. You can upgrade this thing all the way to its maximum level, and that gets you all of the spells. And there we go, at least a level of walls set up over here. You can place range units on each of these levels of wall as well, by the way. So if you don't want to build the towers, that is an option. But I like having all of the extra range. It's pretty darn helpful. Yep, here they come. All right, let's see how well this goes. I'm going to go ahead and activate my Battle Trance ability here now, so they're going to start firing off very, very quickly. It's got a pretty decent cooldown, otherwise there's no real downside to using it, and when there's a wave, I think that's the perfect opportunity. So, let them loose, boys! And the natives will just get stuck on the stone walls for a little bit. Now, the stone walls sometimes can work against you as far as actually getting arrows to, you know, hit the targets, and that can be a small problem, but eventually we'll be fine. They got a lot of hit points. So we should be fine on that front. Really nothing to worry about. To upgrade our town hall again, I need a lot of iron. I also need some gold. Now, gold is something we'll be able to get from a market. I forget where this is. There it is. This has a Zeppelin where I'll be able to start sending resources to different areas and get some money in return. It does take a lot of resources to get a pretty small amount of money. So every gold coin is really quite precious for you, and you want to be overproducing something very heavily in order to actually get any gold. There we go, though. This takes care of the wave. Easy peasy. Might be helpful to grab myself a couple of healers, just so I don't have nearly as much downtime. And can I get the Engineers Guild yet? Very, very soon. I want to get a few catapults for some defense and maybe some early offense. I don't know if the natives have any siege weapons of their own. The rebel faction does, and finding those can be a little bit painful at times. So having a few of those in your retinue, not a bad plan. Every once in a while, don't be afraid to go ahead and regroup, pull your units back, and then get them in position. Otherwise, they'll just keep charging after the enemy, and that can be a problem. Sometimes I wish there was a little bit better of a defensive mode, right? Like, I don't necessarily want them to hold position and get shot at, but I want them on a slightly tighter leash than they currently are. I'd love to see a better defensive mode added into the game at some point. But as it is right now, as long as you're paying attention, it's not too difficult to get around. Okay, we do have access to some catapults. Let's go ahead and train those up next. Having the extra healers on hand is making a big difference, by the way. My spearmen are reasonably tanky. Technically, I think the axemen might be a little bit better. But for the most part, we're doing okay. Now I take that back. We're starting to get killed a little bit over here. Hey, healers, can you target the right guy instead? No? All right. Woo, barely saved him. Barely saved him. That's fine, it's fine. It's an RTS. Manage your micro, and you'll be happy you did. Next wave should be here in about 3 days. It's enough time to get some pretty good defenses, but never ever feel like you are safe and sit idly, because the waves will get progressively more difficult. Let's upgrade a few houses. I intentionally placed down a few fountains in an area where I'll get some extra housing for the nearby proximity, so that's very useful. We should probably just go ahead and get the market up and running too. Even though I don't love having to rely on this early on, we might as well. Okay, now, see, this is the danger of having the catapults, though. They just kind of attacked two very different groups, and now I'm a little bit scared. Let's go ahead and activate my battle trance once again, and if I need to summon some units, we will. Let's see how this is going. Yeah, they got some big guys over here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and spend some of those crystals and try to do this to save a couple of archers. I don't think it's gonna be enough. Nope, at least one person died. Yeah, it's not enough. We're in trouble now. Thanks, catapults. It's not their fault. It's my fault. Bad management. Now, the Dark Knights that I have summoned down here are not going to last forever. Usually they die before they time out, but eventually they will de-summon. So, sometimes having a bunch of these guys means you might as well just go ahead and be aggressive. This is your best chance to just go ahead and get a free front line, get a few kills, and then back off when the time comes. Yep, case in point. There they go. Bye, guys. Thank you. Ooh, and here's something useful. Okay, I don't think I can click on this because I can't see it right now, but this is an infinite source of stone right here. And finding those is obviously great, because you will eventually run out of most of your deposits. We also do have, I think, an infinite source of iron over here. Again, I can't seem to click on it, but they do exist in the game. So finding those is nice. The only downside is you need some pretty darn advanced technology to be able to do anything with them. So, yeah, it's very much a late game thing. Don't get too excited too early. Now, I have a fair bit of wood to work with right now. We can go ahead and sell some of it. So this is a good example where I could sell like 400 wood, but notice it only gets me 10 gold. Like, that's not a lot. We'll still do it because at the end of the day, I think I'm going to be pretty good at generating a lot of wood, and we're kind of full on a lot of our stockpiles, so it's worth it, but yeah, you do not get a lot of gold. So, yeah, you need to overproduce an absolute ton somewhere. Who died? Oh, I don't... No, these are the same bodies I had before. Okay, we still need to bury these guys. Can someone please get on that? They're starting to stink. Oh, and the next wave is already on the way. Again, from the same direction. Oh, they got towers. Okay, so we do need some siege engines if we want to take those down safely. Trebuchets would be nice. I need to get myself up to level 3 Town Hall first to do that, though, and that takes a lot of gold. Yeah, that's a lot of resources we're going to have to sell. Tons. Looks like they're trying to shoot at my walls over here. They're only going to be able to plink at it very slowly, though. Might be fine. Yeah, and now they're starting to hit my other people over here. Okay, so this wall is not really working out. I need to pause these and tell them to go somewhere else, or I'm going to lose citizenry because my builders are going to die. Maybe I just have to make a charge for it, do you think? We might. I will summon a few of these warriors to try and make this a little easier. We have the crystals to go around. Use the catapults. See how fast we can take down these towers, hopefully distract them so I don't lose too many forces. Once the tower is down, this gets a lot easier. Yeah, they're putting up a fight, for sure, but it looks like I'm still only losing units I don't care about. Summon freebies. There we go. With that down, this gets a lot easier. Shankar goes... Blah! Very unladylike. We'll teach you to be civilized. Not a lot of time, unfortunately, before the next wave hits, so we may not be able to finish building these walls right now. It will still help to get my catapults on these towers, and then as many archers on the walls as I can. That will have to do. Let's make sure we also close gates, so that no one feels tempted to go running out and dying when they don't need to, which is never. They should never need to die. And I'm starting to feel concerned that this wave is going to sneak around in a direction I was not planning for. Uh-oh. Yep, that's exactly what they're doing. Oh god, can we build this wall fast enough? Maybe, barely. I'm gonna distract them with a couple more summons over here just to buy a little bit of time. And that is all I needed. Okay, we're gonna open the gate and try to get my civilians back inside. And I got more catapults on the way, but if we can't get these towers built up, we're gonna be in a pretty big disadvantage. Yep, here they come, doing their damage. Okay, but we got these towers coming up. We can put the catapults up on top if we need to, and that will get me a bit of extra range and damage. Okay, we're hanging in there, sort of. The catapults are kind of our saving grace right now. The more they knock these enemies down, the less damage they're able to do. Wish I had some other spells right about now. That would be very, very helpful. Gonna summon a couple more of these guys in their back line, just to try and stop them from shooting me quite so much. Which seems to have helped tremendously. Now I can hit them from behind and we're okay. Alright, that got closer than it needed to be, and it's because I hadn't scouted enough of the map to realize they were probably going to come around this direction. Oh, whoops. Either way, we survived it. That's all that matters. We're fine. Shankar's very angry. So, we know that if the enemy's going to keep using these watchtowers, this is going to become a problem. Yeah, I need to get up to tier 3 then. Get tier 3, upgrade the Engineers Guild, get the Mighty Trebuchet. Takes a lot of gold to do that, but if we can, it'll be well worth it. Oh, looks like the enemy sent a small sortie over here to destroy a cemetery. That's very rude of you. Have you no respect for the dead? Gotta be ready for that. That's why it's nice having walls literally around everything. But that's expensive. Okay, we've got enough money now. Just need a little bit more wood. There it is. Upgrade to town 3. And another wave coming in. All right, this one should be a doozy, and I know I need to reinforce this area fast. Let's make sure we get an upgrade for our stone walls. 30% extra health seems like a smart play. Just finished the research barely in time as the wave approaches. Okay. And of course they're moving over in the direction I wasn't prepped for. Gosh dang. Okay. All right, hang on. Fine, it's fine, it's fine. We can redeploy, This is why I had these other towers built up just in case, because you never knew. Still not quite enough, though. Tell you what, back at the main city, we should probably get ourselves our obelisk. We may need to invoke some dark powers to save us this time around. Maybe. I don't know, the wave doesn't seem that bad. What is that? A Scorpio. Hey, look! They got siege weapons, guys! They did it! Well, you know what that means. It means we summon a bunch of stuff over here and try to take it out before it can do much damage, and then we summon a bunch of other guys in the middle of their line and pray, because the gates are about to go down. At least this is enough to take down their siege weapon, so that's no longer a threat. Good. Holding the line, barely. My healers are doing a good job of keeping the spearmen going. Yeah, very bloody, but I think we'll survive this one too. Ay vey, so messy. There we go. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this should be your key, guys, that we need a sense of urgency here. We've been feeling pretty good about ourselves, but if it keeps getting difficult like this, the faster we can end the level and find their citadel, the better. Still, we're about to get trebuchets. Once we have those up and running, this gets a lot easier. There are other buildings we have access to now. We could place down a university. This gives me access to some of the best technology in the game. Let's go ahead and start training up some foot knights, some of the best infantry I can get. Very good at surviving against arrows. Okay, what kind of new technologies can I get over here at the university? An ultimate alchemy, a method of creating soul crystals. That'd be pretty useful. Eternal stone furnaces. Yep, those are the infinite sources I have been talking about. Very fast training on archers, good for emergencies. Make my Dark Knight summoning better. Make all stone walls pour oil on people. I can see that being pretty useful. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to enjoy here for sure. But what will make the most difference? Probably extra health on some of my new frontline units. That could be good. I don't have any ballista. That is another thing we could put in some towers, and that would be pretty effective. We can also place down workshops. This boosts up the effectiveness of all nearby buildings by a little bit. Very nice to place in a lot of useful areas, like over here. Might as well preemptively upgrade all of the walls, since we know that this is going to be a problem later. Okay, wave coming in. Question is, where are they going to pop up? This side or this side?
Research complete.
This side. No, wait, is that them? This. Oh, there they are. That's it. This side. Okay, let's get in position. Oh god, that is a lot of big boys. Question, how good would it be to drop a meteor on their faces? Hang on, let's just try it right here. Boom! Very effective. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Okay, yeah, that was a lot of big tanky targets instantly deleted. This does have friendly fire, by the way. Everything in the epicenter gets killed, including your own guys, so, yeah, danger close. Be careful with that one. Still, now that we've dealt with all of these guys, let's go on the offensive. This is our chance to push back. We've only got a few days before the next wave. I don't know where their citadel is, but if this is a classic RTS map, if I'm in this bottom corner, they're going to be in this top corner. So we're going to go in that direction and hope. Oh, I see some special walls with, it looks like, they've got siege weapons of their own. Okay, we're going to have to deal with that. Oh yeah, they've got a lot of siege weapons. Hold on. How long is their range? I wish I could see their range. That would make life a little bit easier. Can my trebuchets hit these? If not, we're just going to meteor them. Let's be honest. Oh crap, there's already another wave on the way. It's already been that long? Right. Maybe now is not the right time to go on the offense. Freaking heck, that didn't take long. Yeah, I can't believe it. I actually have to pull back. Oh, that just makes me mad. All right, fine. And here they come, and it's mostly a bunch of little guys. That doesn't even scare me a little bit, actually. We're fine. Yeah, come on. Come on. Bring them in. Bring them in. Tell you what, astral ray time. This is fun. Woo! I can just draw that all over the map. Okay, this is actually a really big wave, to be fair. It is a very big wave. And they actually managed to knock down the gates. I am shocked and appalled, but okay. Well, whatever. We dealt with it. Back on the offensive. Alright, let's see how close I can get with just the trebuchets. Can I outrange their towers or no? The answer is yes, though I think barely. Yeah, barely, because these guys can hit my targets over here pretty well, too. Okay, so they actually are equivalent in range. That's scary. This is taking too long and running out of food. Alright, that's it. Meteor, meteor, meteor. That helps. Let's see if we can just charge in. Probably not. I bet you they got enough stuff here to be worried. That looks like the Citadel right there. How much health does it have? Enough to be a problem. But 1, 2, can't quite reach it. 3, 4, 5, 6 more meteors. Will that do the job? That did the job. Boom! However, that was not GG, which surprises me. Oh god, and here they come. What more do I need to do? Oh, there's the heart of the Saranaga tribe right there. So, it was actually 2 different buildings I had to destroy, and now I don't have enough soul crystals. So, I guess we just go on as fast of a kill spree as possible? I think so. Get them, boys, forget everything else. Just get this thing, destroy it as fast as you can. Go, go, go! And there we go. Alright, took a few more casualties than I expected by the end of that, but we win the game. Yeah! See, this is interesting to me. This is really more like a classic RTS in a lot of ways, compared to just the endless mode that we had before in the game. Which is pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie, I like it. 5,667 enemies killed. Okay, not so bad. And we captured, what's her name? Shankra? Whatever she was. I want her hat. Give me the hat. She's a little mad at me, though. And fair enough. I don't really blame her. We just kind of came into her continent, annexed the land, demanded taxes, and then put them down. It's not exactly nice behavior. She's still trying to convince me that I should let her go. Which, you know, maybe for a ransom or something. I could get behind that. Oh no, she's offering to guide us to treasure. Treasure that I suspect doesn't exist. But okay. As a reminder, though, there are 6 different endings to this game, which means there's a lot of different branching paths you could take, so I'm curious how the different missions would be, you know, kind of different if I played as, let's say, the natives, or if I played as the rebels, and how they can branch off even further from that. I've even heard there might be the option to summon the undead and just become a necromancer at some point. I can't prove that. That appears to be a thing. We even have branching paths for missions here now. See? Fun. Way cool. This game has come a very long way, I think. It's now a very respectable RTS and horde survival city builder. Really cool to play, and a big thank you to Door407 for sponsoring today's video and letting me take a look at the new content. If you guys like what you saw and you want to learn more, there will be a link in the description down below. Otherwise, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.